at 6:01. I think it's really wrong. We can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or not stand, depends on if you can or not.
No, I can stand up. When I went to physical therapy, he made me stand up many times I couldn't, 30 seconds.
Oh, well done.
You know,
I
they-
pledge of allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when they didn't have under God. They started out when I was in public school.
I know, sorry. But glad you've been around, right?
No, I just thought it's always, I always think of that because when I first started to say it in school, public school, and they didn't have under God. And somebody said, let's put under God, and man, it's been there forever now. Nobody complains about it, but I just found that, I always find it interesting. Yeah.
It's always been that way for me. All right, we've got the minutes for July.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
So be it. Hold on. Pam, you're first up.
Sure. So we have got, after some communications with the consultant, we have got a mapping workshop planned for later this month to, review the maps and give them some real-time feedback. This is kind of a follow-up to a meeting we had, the CAC meeting we had, I think, in May. And I'm very glad we can finally calendar this.
Yeah.
So more to come.
Yep, so that's on the 19th, correct?
Or the 19th
1:30
in the afternoon.
1:30, I remember.
Yeah.
Perfect. Our planning board update? was
Well, there is no update to the planning
For last
board,
night, because they canceled.
that, for whatever reason, but just to sort of historically go over what they had done, the Greenbrier people were told that they have to get a variance, Aaron, AKRF, he said that place is only zoned for 1 acre properties. Even though they have 4 acres, it's only allowed 1 acre zoning on there. So if they want to get more than one house on there, they would have to subdivide into more acreage. And they told them that they would have to go to the
Right.
planning board
Susan?
for that,
The ZBA.
ZBA rather, for that. And the trick with the ZBA is that there's a section in the code, the New York State Code, that says if there's 4 things you have to qualify for to get a use variance.
Right.
And if you knowingly have bought the property and you knew you didn't qualify for any one of them, it's an automatic denial of the variance. And they admitted that and it's on the audio, they admitted that they knew that property was owned 1 acre. And
Right.
that their property was supposed to be multifamily on instead. So we'll see how it goes with the ZBA.
Have they filed? I don't think they filed.
They're not even on any agenda.
They're not on the agenda yet, but there's no rush to get on the agenda. And so far, historically, and I've been going to ZBA meetings for a very long time compared to most people, and I have never, the last person on there, Mr. Reddle, I have never seen him deny, he may have, but I have never seen him deny a variance of any request of any type.
Right.
And secondly, it says that you have to, prove that you didn't know that this was not allowable and you had to get a variance for it. So there's four qualities for denial. And they, in my opinion, that they don't meet the standard to get a use variance because of that. It says it's quite common, I looked it up on the internet.
Mhm.
It says it's quite common for people to go and be denied because they don't really know that standard says that it's a self-inflicted hardship and you're denied for that.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. The other thing they could do is go to the town board and request a change in zoning
Mhm.
for that property. Now, I don't know what the town board would think about that, because originally, under the present zoning law, I happened to be on the zoning committee at the time, with the land use, we had a very large survey. Over almost 700 people filled out a questionnaire at that, and they haven't done that yet, I don't think. And they asked, what was your rank, what you wanted from 1 to 5, and then we added it up, and we did a weighted average for each of the ones that was ranked. And what they wanted was protect the environment, keep the town and the village separate, and the last thing was to develop any new housing in the town. So this is totally in violation of the last comprehensive plan as well. So I'm saying to myself, why would the town board want to change something that nobody's asking for, except for people who want to make some money off of a piece of property? We are very, very lucky, in my opinion. I'm going to lecture a little bit to everybody who knows this, but it's real. I think it's really important. We are very lucky that we have not changed much in the past 20 some odd years, or 30 years, compared to almost all the surrounding towns. All the surrounding towns have been bought up and developed out, and we're like in the middle. And people who live here, I think most people appreciate where they live still. And we're one of the few towns I can say that, going back 30 or 40 years, that we're still more or less the same type of town that people moved into and want to live. So if they grant this, you change the zoning code to accommodate this person, this group here, this will just set in motion more of the same to happen again, more precedents. Furthermore, I looked these people up. I don't know if I sent you that one comment or not. They're on LinkedIn.
I just think that this is a little premature.
I know.
No, I'm
I
saying,
really know, but I'm just saying that what's happening, we don't have anything before us. And so we're speculating and issuing opinions about stuff that's really not before us. And that can be, you don't want to prejudge anything. I think that, the best we can say at this point is that we'll evaluate everything very carefully.
well, the only thing that happened in the past is when they wanted to do the drug addiction home down there.
Mhm.
People knew about that and they showed up. And that's what I'm trying to sort of get on the record.
There will be that opportunity. I mean, because, if they try either one of those avenues that are the possibilities that were discussed at the planning board, there will be sufficient notice. There's going to be that so that your neighborhood can show up.
Well, they will. I live in that area, and most of my neighbors are very upset over it. They came for the drug addiction one because they knew about that,
Understood.
but nobody knew about the pre-meeting
But
they
this
had.
was a pre-application.
There is no application.
Right. So, I mean, it would have been helpful for them to hear about it, but they will have an opportunity if anything official gets presented.
Well, they
We'll
put
see
it
it on
on.
the agenda before it does.
They put it on the agenda, but it was over the 4th of July weekend,
No, I
basically, and so
understand.
nobody knew.
I know.
But it was
And
only
it just passed the opportunity for the public to get involved at that point, so.
No, I
Now
I
we're
know.
watching for it.
Right, we don't want to be, if we, I think that what we have to do is save our energies for when something, concrete comes to us, so we can look at it more carefully.
Did anyone go to, I mean, you must have, but it looks like the only meeting this past month was the town board meeting, right, on July 23rd?
Yeah.
Where they did discuss the park.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know how many
Well, that
people
was the
watched
special
that,
meeting.
or not that you folks,
Right.
you were there, but everybody watched that
I
meeting?
didn't watch it, no.
No, I looked at the
I
minutes.
checked.
The meeting, I'm going to speak about what my impression of the meeting was.
Oh, sorry.
First things first.
The first thing is that many people in the village and town don't have any idea that's happening. I've asked a few people, do you know anything about this? Did you hear about any of this? And most people say no. Second thing that I took away from the meeting is that there's not a lot of people who are involved know for sure if this is something the public wants, or do they want something else done with that park. And the price tag I heard at the meeting that they were thinking about, correct me if I'm wrong, was someplace between $2 and $4 million to do what people might want to do, and that's a lot of money to spend on something if most people don't even want to have it. And it also would change the complexion of Mabbittsville if that thing becomes, it will commercialize Mabbittsville, in my opinion, again, when listening to the meeting, that most people like Mabbittsville the way it is. In fact, there was a very large contingent of people that showed up, I'm going to say 1989 or something, for the zoning of Mabbittsville originally. They wanted it to stay the way it was, and they put quite a few restrictions on it. I think most of the people who live in that area still would like Mabbittsville to remain a rural little hamlet instead of developing.
We like
So-
it the way it is, yes.
So the concern was that, and they talked about this at the meeting, correct me if I'm wrong here, that they don't know what people want yet, and that, but it seems to be moving along in some way. And I'm not even sure, maybe somebody else knows where this concern about the pool came up, why this became a big issue. Because I've talked to some of the people I know who have also lived here a long time, and their kids went to that pool, and they said the pool was fine. They went with their parents, and there was no big problem with the pool. So the question is, are we putting the horse before the cart here, and planning for something that people may not even want, and then have a $2 to $4 million tax bill? I think the town tax, again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think the town taxes are $1.5 million a year or something like that, the budget that they have. How much, do you know how much the budget is off the top of your head?
$3 million.
Was the 2 to 4, was that mentioned at the meeting as far as 2 to 4 million? Was that
Of course,
mentioned?
yes, and they're gonna hire a consultant too.
Well,
I think they're getting a grant, they're doing it under a grant. So it
No,
wouldn't
They're
They're not getting it?
concrete. Well,
that was the whole original, from what I understood, is they thought they were gonna be able to get a grant like Millerton did, like Stanfordville did.
right, so,
I think they're basing it on that.
Oh, so
premise.
they're not thinking about taxing the public and here to pay for it?
no, I know. The Millerton pool is not 100% covered by
No,
the NY Plays or whatever it is
Yeah.
grant. And I don't know that the Stanford Park improvements
theirs
are either.
was actually an underwriting, wasn't it? Didn't they get donations, private donations from the residents to do theirs?
I think in both cases,
I think,
it's
yeah,
true.
I think they did a balance of it. And I assume that's what they're trying to do. I don't think they're trying to bill us for $2 million worth of park changes when nobody
and it's
technically.
my understanding that there's no way that you could even say, like, that's what I would wonder where 2 to 4 million came from. That's like but I don't think they were even discussing, I think they were discussing a lot of different things that it would be hard to say where $2 to $4 million, that number would come from.
Well, you
if it's
stretch
not-
it out over, take a bond or something like that. That's what they do it a lot of times in town, and they go to take a bond out.
No, but I'm saying the $2 to $4 million estimate of, it's so,
I'm
early
fairly
that-
sure that the $2 to $4 million number was mentioned. Now, how you pay for it is another matter.
right,
In the past, they take out bonds, long-term bonds, and pay
Right.
off the bonds.
I think where this came from is that New York Swims is the grant, the New York State grant to
Yeah.
improve swimming availability. And that I think is where it came from. So it wasn't just like, hey, let's get a new pool, the town will pay for it. I think it was more of the existing pond pool, even though people swam there when they were kids, I think there are some maintenance issues. I know exactly what that was from what I've understood from the recreation department, is that there's been, it's when it may have been fine when people were kids, and as time goes on, those certain things have, I don't know exactly what that number is as far as like to fix things, or I've heard so many different ideas of what's been discussed anyway, that I think it's an impossibility to give even a range. I mean, it's well,
there was a stream that came into that from across the road where the food store or whatever it was at the time, and the Dutchess County Board of Health was involved with that. I remember I met with that woman, and they sent people out there, and eventually they cleared it up. But there were maintenance issues with that, as you're pointing out, all
Mhm.
for
You're talking about
other
the
years.
Mavisville Market?
Yeah, out of Mavisville Market, which it crosses over, goes into the retaining pond that then goes into the pool.
Right.
Yeah, and the county was involved with that, and they finally cleared it up.
And then there's the filtering system that goes into the pond so that it stays, and then
Mhm.
it comes down past my backyard.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that, the point I was trying to make at that meeting, and I don't know that I did it very well, is that I believe that, you know, maybe we need a new pool, but I think before we can get to that point, I think it would be good if we looked at all our recreation resources that we currently have, you know, both town and village, and see what we want to do. I mean, we've got playgrounds in the village. Do we need more playgrounds? Maybe, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different things that could happen. I have informally spoken with one of the trustees and at the village about maybe forming like a joint group where we could sit down and figure out what would be combined resources that we and what our needs are. And I personally believe that we should be hiring a recreation consultant that can help us identify what people want, what our needs are, and you know, and then design programming and facilities and help us do that. And I think that we haven't done any of that. I mean, it looks to me like what the feasibility study was, they did do a survey, but I know Bob Audius said at the last meeting that he didn't think it was that, you know, that reliable a survey or something that they could glean a lot of information from. And even that survey itself only said 14% of people said they wanted a pool.
yeah,
And so what do we, I mean, are we gonna like, you know,
spend
There's
a
a few
dive
people
in and-
too, and we don't know who was surveyed, like maybe they went to the fountains and surveyed.
Right,
It's 200
right.
people. What
Yeah,
they did was they
very
did two
few.
things. They
Yeah.
did a survey of, a community day with like
Right.
stickies that people put up. So you don't
Well,
know,
that was, but that was also with the climate,
it was part and parcel of the
It was
same
with-
thing. I thought it was across the street. I don't know. I mean, so that was my understanding. They were.
I know they had an online survey and it was
And
very,
they also had that.
very brief. And I'm not even sure if I was able to get it done before it was time. I can't remember. But I honestly know that people didn't know it was going on.
Right, I didn't.
And I said, and I told them when I did discover it, I said, look, when we did the hospitality overlay thing, that we mailed it twice. We had the online, we had posters all over town with the codes for you to for your phone, whatever. I said, we blasted people all over the place.
They got no response.
Well, people still said they'd never heard of it.
yeah,
So,
it
you
was
know,
hard to get folks.
it's hard to get people to just pay attention and get on with it.
Well, and I think what Nan Stolzenberg did was she had, I believe, I don't know for sure, but, you know, looking back and comparing to what happened with the feasibility study, it looks like they brought in professional people to design the survey because, you know, they had those examples about like
Pictures so they can
what
solve.
kind of.
No,
Yeah.
you're correct. I had a woman that I can't remember her name at the moment. There was a
Nan.
woman that was
It
hired.
was Nan, she just
But
said.
I think she might
But
have
she had-
subcontracted.
Well, she
to do
had
the
different
survey.
people as a part of her group. They
Right,
were like,
exactly.
I think there were 5 of them. They each had their own job, they each did their own little thing, and it was great, you know.
And I think that's what we need for recreation.
Yeah, you need to be able to understand it.
It's an expensive undertaking and, you want to make sure that people use it, you know?
That's
all.
the other question. How much of a priority is it for us to have too much there when there's other towns that have it?
Well, all that stuff, that's really important. And I think that, you know, like the recreation people, by that I mean like the director, Danielle, and Deirdre is the liaison. I mean, they were talking about doing an RFP using like for an engineer. My personal view is, I don't know that we're even there yet. I mean, I think that maybe some engineering companies, they may also have some of this sort of social planning, or I don't know what you would call it.
Did they decide to actually go ahead and look for a consultant at this point? I don't remember.
There's talk about an RFP.
At the meeting, did they decide that they're going to
There are
advertise?
well, they're in the process of preparing an
Preparing,
RFP, and I
okay.
think it would be good if people weighed in about what they would like to see in that RFP. I mean, so, because otherwise it's just gonna be focused in a certain way, from what I can tell, and so I think it's important that people start to weigh in.
And the consultant can provide some, it's not just like hiring the consultant to do what you decide and you tell them. Part of it is kind of discovering what is going on as far as like what the life of some of the parts of the, that are over there, the pond, what issues are, what any, and kind of assessing that and assessing different options. And it can be much more simple than hiring an engineer to do like a full plan. It's more of kind of like a consultant that may have done that kind of work before. There's other similar swimming pools in the area that have had work done, and so yeah, I think that that consultant could just try to know what's going on and kind of give the town.
I think
Board,
it's sort of
like
like an assessment of our recreation inventory.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the
And
most
town
important
and village inventory is what
Yeah.
I
Do people
Right.
want this before they get too deep into the details? I think they need to find out if this is something that's important for this town now at this point in time.
I was talking to somebody over at,
There's man-made
Ryan's-
environments, that's
Right.
us.
I was talking to somebody over at Pat Ryan's office, and there was a federal grant. They only offer it every few years. I think the next time is like in 2028, but, if we do a careful study, then I think that we might be positioned to do that. I don't think that we're at that point right now. And one of the things that I was just kind of talking off the top of my head is like, what if there were bike trails and walking trails that could somehow take people from the village to Town Park? I mean, I don't know what the route would be or anything, but, and they were like, oh yeah, that's exactly what this is for. So, to reduce vehicular traffic, promote health.
You talk about a bike trail to get to the park? That came up a while back and
I heard. I
Don't
think
remember what
Bob
happened to
Audio's father might have been involved in that or something.
Audio was involved, Bob Audio was
Bob
involved.
Audi himself, I mean, I
He's
don't know.
right there now. Isn't he part of your town town park commission?
Well, there's that commission, the one that I think your wife was on, I don't know,
Mhm.
what are they doing at this point?
I think it was just I don't think they're doing anything at this
It's
point. I think
disbanded.
they're, right, I
Just
think
They
they,
did their study, yeah.
right.
And now they're done.
But even with that, I do know that some people, there's, as with all of these subjects, it gets, people hear something and then they're like, oh, they're doing a new pool.
Right.
And it's,
right.
some people were referring to that as a master plan.
Right.
And that's what I had heard, that, emphatically, like, this isn't a master plan. This is like, we're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's not a plan.
Master plan,
They did.
which was a
Well,
problem.
that is, I think,
It's
what
like
the,
master plan final report,
Yeah.
that's how.
That's, I think, what the,
Named by the town of Washington, yeah.
Yeah.
right,
It says feasibility.
Well, right, but
But you-
It's on the, it's on.
that's the town of Washington's name for it, the workshop group
Oh,
called
the
it the feasibility
document.
plan.
right. So that's the,
So it did make it a little.
that's how some of this stuff can be, and it's talked about as an early idea, and then someone else hears it, and it goes around, and it's like, hey, when's this happening? Like,
That
who's
happens a
paying
lot.
for it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is, I think typical in this kind of,
100%, definitely.
this world.
Yeah, well, we'll sit and wait for the moment, because there's nothing to move on that, I'd say.
Well, other than your input on, an RFP, I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean,
And the minutes don't say that that's happening, the minutes from the town board
I can't
just,
even see them, tell me.
well, they just say that it was discussed that an assessment and more community feedback need to be gathered.
Right.
So then an assessment needs to be done, right? Like, so next steps were discussed, but it doesn't say what any,
Yeah, well, I kind
So-
of got a different impression, but,
yeah.
I mean, it would be logical that they would ask the CAC, whoever we are,
I would hope so.
to, have some input into the RFPs, but.
that would be good. I mean, as the CAC hasn't weighed in on the feasibility
No,
plan,
we
right?
haven't been
No.
asked to.
We haven't been asked.
You could, I would assume that you have to be asked,
Sometimes they say that.
but I'm sure you could do that if you want.
No, I don't know if we have to be, as I think
I
it
don't
says in our
think so.
charter that we advise,
That's right.
and we advise on man-made and that environment.
There are lots of times we've weighed on, in
Yeah,
our
we
things
have.
without being asked.
They do ignore it.
And we can look at the
I will.
recommendations. Like, we can look at the recommendations and decide if we wanted to weigh in on the feasibility plan does have recommendations, which presumably is what the town board would.
I think that's a
Considering.
great idea, particularly if you do it before the September meeting, when I believe this RFP is going to be,
Yeah.
further discussed.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'd say that everyone should probably look at it, and then we will.
Will we get a copy before it is part
The
of the public
feasibility
meeting?
study should be
I
online,
will-
shouldn't it?
I'll send it.
She's going to send us all.
Oh, great.
Thank you,
Okay.
Shannon. You are the best secretary ever.
I will remember to do it, because I will do it right now.
And I knew that. So, yeah, and then, excuse me, we'll look at it. We'll see if we can get something together and present them before they even have their meeting. Because then that way they'll have it so that they can correct anything if they want to. All right. Sounds good. They did not have a ZBA meeting either, did they?
No, I think they do have a ZBA meeting.
No, they
That's
do.
It's coming up.
They do have one coming up, but they didn't have one, right?
No, didn't have one before.
Yes.
They-
Language.
It's coming up, I'm gonna have to say off the top of my head, either 13th or
18th.
18th.
It's the 18th.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is that the one where the person has a approval from the ZBA to build one type of building and a retail building or something? And then it said you can only use that property for that?
You're referring to, they have the rental, the house
Yes, I'm referring to,
that there was, the family lived in, and now they want to turn it into a rental?
yes.
Yeah, that is on the agenda, yes.
And they had said in the original agreement for the family to have the house as a rental, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have my notes in front of me, that you cannot change that once we grant you that variance.
Yes, that is correct.
And so how can they say that in print then, that you can't change what we're granting you as a condition of us granting it to you? And then say in the next sentence, we're now changing that to a different type of variance. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if you can do that or not. But once you put it in as part of the agreement, and if people accept that agreement, isn't that binding?
Was the agreement that if they were to build a guest house, they would just use it for personal use and not as a rental? Is that?
Something like that.
So it says the applicant has received a use variance from the Town Zoning Board of Appeals. The ZBA has conditioned its approval on the proposed guest house not being used for rental purposes. The applicant has stated that the proposed of the expansion is to provide housing for 2 elderly family members only, which is the way that the resolution is set with the specific conditions and limitations.
So I understand from AKRF's memo that they're saying that this would be allowed without the need of a use variance today and by special permit. So,
I think he didn't actually read the specifications of this before he said that.
okay.
That's-
Interesting. I've got to look
that's-
at this more closely.
Yeah, you need to look at it. I think he gave his opinion before he actually read those lines. I could be wrong.
No,
Well, it's a technical legal thing.
Bachman, I think is the name, yeah? Yeah, Beauchman.
The question in my non-legal mind, if this is allowed, what happens when the next one comes along? And
Right,
one
well,
after that one?
So this is kind of in the realm of, you can't create or buy hardship in New York State. So they've created their hardship right there by accepting this rule. And if somebody else bought the house and went back and said, oh, I want to, well, you can't buy the hardship. So this is binding, from what I understand.
Well, what does everybody else think?
Well, I
Lawyers,
want-
at least
I
3
gotta
and a
look at
half
this.
lawyers at the
Well,
table, maybe 4.
She's already said that she's going to look at it. Nobody else can look at it. Anybody, I mean, it's until we sit in on it, we can't really say anything. You have to hear
So
what the ZBA
that's
says.
something, is that on, the thing that I was perplexed by, they put that right on for hearing immediately for next,
That is a public hearing. It says,
It's from the secretary, right? The ZBA secretary.
yeah, this is the agenda for August 18th. It says it's a public hearing. So, all right, so that, and there was nothing else at the regular town board meeting? Not the special?
Not
The
that
other
I can
one?
think that applied to us.
Yeah.
Did I
That's-
miss something?
No, that's good. I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else to say.
I might have missed something.
The minutes don't say anything else.
Yeah,
It
I
just
think
said
that was,
the
I think it was very. So, Susan, did the Jane get interviewed yet, or anything happening with that?
Well, so apparently Jane was supposed to be interviewed at the last meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and then it turned out that the public notice for that special meeting did not include, well, they would have had it, because she'll be interviewed in executive session.
Mhm.
Most likely, maybe not, but it wasn't on the agenda, so it's supposed to be on this one. I contacted Chrissy yesterday to remind her that that should be on the agenda.
Okay.
Because we're starting at 5, because we also have some other thing with the highway department going on. I talked to her. One of the things actually I wanted to talk to you guys about is there's one other resolution that I'm still trying to get from Chrissy that I don't know, I'll have to see if I can track it down. I'll just have to go to the office and maybe I can help expedite that. But, we're talking about doing a web page, and I'm just wondering at this point, I'd be happy to put up the funds for that, is to have the CSC have its own website. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy or anything, but I just think it'll be easier for us to, to make changes and make it our own, So I don't know how people feel about that, and if you're up for that. I mean, anybody have any ideas about a domain name or anything? And like I say, I would cover it.
Well, why wouldn't we already have a site within the town of Washington? Isn't that the right place for it?
We could do that. Yeah, I just felt that as a matter of timeliness and just, I think we'd have more, there are more possibilities if we had our own website, if we, as far as like.
But we're part of town government.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm concerned that if it's something separate, that we might be viewed as somehow not part of town
Be
government.
very negative, possibly. So we did used to have, before the new website, each of the heads had control over their area. So I did control the CAC page and
Okay.
what came on and went off. But when we came to the new website, they just stopped everyone. And I'm sure it was because things were just too confusing to have too many different people inside the website, which I get totally. So they do actually do a really good job if we ask them to do something.
Yeah.
Natalie is
Yeah.
super efficient.
Okay, well, then
So
let's
I have
stick with
no,
that.
I
Yeah.
have no problem, like I see what you may think that we may need a whole separate thing besides our page, like something that goes to a bigger page or
Yeah, we
something.
might need multiple pages,
Right.
or we could do sub-menus or
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
there's probably things that we could set up that's fairly
All right,
Yeah.
okay, well, then we'll stick with
But, I
that,
mean,
and
I
let's see
think
how it goes.
Yeah, and I think it would be very easy to work with Natalie
Yeah.
to get that done.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because
And-
we are definitely a part of the town.
All right.
We're
Well,
only
we're part of the
advising.
town, but we
And I'm
have
thinking
a
that
legal
once the
standing on some
EP,
things. Dare I mention the letter
district proposal
CAB?
gets up and running, then we'll be posting documents
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
things
and,
like that.
and we just
And-
haven't had anything to post recently.
Yeah,
I mean, like, one of the things I thought of that, I'm sorry, I just got finished with like this big batch of work, so now I'm like kind of like in a new zone where I can, and I did put a web page together, but it needed it needs significant amendment. But anyways, so I was going somewhere. So I can spend some time on it, but the one thing that came across my desk that I thought was interesting, this could be the kind of stuff that we could be promoting, is Michelle Hinchy sent around this notice about grants for well testing, groundwater well testing, and that individuals can get. I mean, and this should be the stuff we should be, announcing.
Yeah, if we have knowledge of it, we could definitely announce it. We could post it there, and we could post it on the Climate Smart Communities page as well.
Well, that's what actually, when I was talking about website, I really meant the
Oh, for the
climate.
Climate Smart?
yeah.
Climate Smart, okay.
Not the
Still,
CAC.
yeah, well,
But I agree. Same
Yeah, so the
concept.
same concept, same thing. So yeah, and I mean, it would be the same thing because we're just waiting to upload a Climate Smart Community page anyway.
Right, that's the one.
Yeah, that's.
So, and with respect to Jane, to bring this back to Jane, I talked to her, and she would be very interested in working on our content and all that.
Happy
Right,
for all
exactly.
that. Happy.
Exactly. so-
Get her interviewed, get her on.
Yeah. yeah.
Does the village have a web page that we could use for something?
No, we want to use our own, don't.
The reason I bring this
We
up
do
is,
have one, I worked on.
Yeah, I think this, I was gonna say,
in terms of water, there's still some places in the village that are not connected to water, and to use water in the town when the village is supposed to be using their water first. And I don't even think some people in the village are aware of that there are places in the village that don't have water. They still have wells. And the village water supply is not unlimited, the
Right.
aquifer water supply. And so should the aquifer water supply, not be made preserved first for the residents, and then when it's all used up and built out, allowed to go into the town as well? Well, not as well, that was a bad word, water supply. also. So should the village be involved, is what I'm saying, as a webpage for something that, with aquifers and so on are sort of like our thing. But the village is in part, uses these aquifers. And they have a webpage.
No, I think that, I mean, and you want to.
Yeah, and we have the groundwater all
Yeah.
right on the SC page for the village. It's part of the MRI. Like you can link to it, you can pull up the maps. We have put links to different things that come up.
Okay, so what happens if we, the CAC group, decide that we want to put something on that page how do we go about doing that?
I mean, if it's part of the CSC for
We'll do
the
it on the
village.
town, we'll do it on
Yeah.
the town.
No, I'm saying the CAC, not the CS, not the other one, wants to post something that we feel is happening in the town that will affect the village,
It'd have to go through the village CSC.
and they have a webpage.
They used to have, do they not have the CAC listed on there?
Yes, we
On the
used to be.
village?
We used
They
to-
used to
do
be.
have a village CAC, but I don't think they do really.
I think they did away with
Do
it.
they have the, on the
Hold on.
page? Let's see if it's on the page. We used to be the CAC for.
Yes, we were the CAC. I don't
the
know, I
village.
think they
And I can
stopped.
honestly say the mayor acknowledges that.
But we don't see it in the planning board for the village, right? Like, yeah. I don't know.
We don't, no one,
They
no
have
one
their own
asks us.
of those.
No
I
one
don't think
asks
they
us,
go
but
to.
like if I have said something to the mayor on something else that I won't divulge this humorous story, but he did in his email thank the CAC for their support. I'm like, this is really a private thing, not a CAC thing.
No, we used to, coming back a little bit more, we used to advise that we were a CAC
Yeah.
and we had input in the village as a village.
Yeah, you- so
we
you-
were the
I do
village
know that-
CAC, and they did away with that, I
The
believe.
CAC page had David, you, and
Everybody.
Mike and somebody else listed at one point when
It's the Shade Tree Commission now.
Yeah, so they used to have their own
Probably
CAC
They're very
page.
active.
And they said, anything to do with the conservation and contact, and then it had
So-
everybody.
Is there a village law that has a CAC? I mean, if they do, then they should constitute it. I mean, like, they're supposed to have an architectural review commission. It's not a discretionary either.
Well, I'm trying to think, we were the village CAC officially. We was at meetings and they did appoint somebody. So it's not, they would say, oh, let's get the CAC from the town. We were
Yeah,
listed
I don't see
in their
it.
minutes and in their whatever else bylaws at one
Did you
point.
look on the code?
I'm looking at their list of.
A while back, it's not new.
No, it's been since all of
Are
us have
those
been
the
on the
codified
CAC,
laws,
so
or just
it's
the
been
ones
before that.
These are resolutions and local laws.
Yeah, so those are not, yeah.
If
So
you go in
have
the-
to go in the,
The E-code
like
should
the
have it.
book.
Yeah, the E-code should have, and you can look up Conservation Advisory Commission.
You know what you could do, at least I have it on my computer, so it's probably, I think anybody can have it, have an AI app. And every time I have a question on something,
I hate
It's not
AI.
complete.
Please don't.
and you type in a question, and then it says, would you want to know
Yeah.
more? And I'm
Do
willing
I
to
wanna-
bet somebody
do you
could
wanna
do
know
that and ask if there was ever
more?
a
The
CAC in
truth.
the village, and probably come up with an answer.
Yeah,
You can
Mike,
come up with an answer.
Yeah,
Come up with an
definitely.
answer.
But then you have to go find it and check, because it's.
You
Yeah.
have to
Make
fact
stuff up.
check the answer.
all the
That is
time.
all.
Always
Well, that
fact check.
doesn't,
100%
if it
the
says yes,
Oh,
then we
yeah.
know
I
where to
don't-
go.
I don't,
Well, it's
With that.
helpful, but you can't rely
Yeah,
on it.
no.
It's like, it's in researching.
yeah.
And maybe you can cover more ground.
It does
It's
help you
wonderful to
get-
find out
but
who's
I don't-
related
I
to
don't
who in
think
the
it's-
village.
I didn't find it any,
With the
I
app.
try not to use it at all, but it's now there, so what do you do?
No, what I'm saying, if somebody wants to take that project on, has better computer skills than I have nowadays, if you do that and you find an answer to it, then you can go ahead and check it with the village officially, because you can check these facts, and they'd have to find it one way or another.
So I have only one other point,
Go ahead.
which is that we were supposed to have a meeting at the library.
Yes,
Yes.
oh, thank you,
So Dutchess
Yes.
County,
thank you.
at the end of July, had scheduled a briefing session
Yeah,
on CACs and climate smart communities. The session was canceled by the county because there were thunderstorms forecast and nobody had signed up. So that's for the minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, I had it on the backside of my thing to talk
And
about.
Jane
I
was
was-
going
I
to
was-
attend that.
I was signed up. It's funny.
But
I mean,
as,
she did email me, obviously,
but
so.
that's what the note to us
Right,
said.
it did say,
It said
But-
there were no signups and.
Which is kind of humorous, but.
And so there's no plan to reschedule because the speaker had no room in her schedule
Right, because it's already
during the evenings.
Yeah.
So it's a missed opportunity to recruit people, but that's what happened.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And what was the
Had this
speaker
with-
supposed to be, just
So
giving?
giving an overview of what CACs and CSCs do,
It's just like a,
which is something, certainly we could hold the same thing. I mean, we people, members, Margaret and I and anybody on the committee could just show up and talk about what we do, about what the charter is, and how flexible service potentially is. And we've got a very broad charter that can accommodate a range of interests. I mean, we do what we do, but certainly it's not limited to that if we have members who have other interests. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, I think that,
So we would talk to the library's, director of programming.
yeah, I'm sure she'd be very mindful.
Yeah.
The
So-
nice thing is if we do it, it could count towards CSC stuff.
right,
Way to go.
Exactly.
Versus
Right.
Dutchess County was doing it, it's great, but
right.
That's
You
a
can't
good
claim it,
idea.
you can't
Yeah.
claim it because it was them.
Well, yeah, I think that would be great.
CSC holds an informational meeting on
Right.
CAC and
CSC.
CSC, then
That it counts.
Yeah.
Is that,
And it counts for the village and the town. Did you find anything on the Conservation Advisory Commission? Because I did
Nope.
not through there.
I did a
Yeah.
search
Yeah.
from the E-code.
And I think the E-code, it would show it otherwise. I think it
There's a-
would, but I don't think it's there.
Not clear.
You talking about the village?
so that was the only
In
thing. I
the, in
had.
the E-code, it doesn't show up.
No, it's not now. It's a couple of years ago. It's disappeared in time.
No, but it's not,
No,
it's
we did
not
already
a
before
part
you
of their
got
law.
here.
So they
It's
don't
not
have
showing
to-
up in their
So
law.
we're.
No, that's not what I.
No, I know what
That's
you,
what
I
we
know
were-
what you
that's
mean.
I think they
I-
took it out of there.
Finally.
Well, you can't remove something from the law without
There's no
notification.
sign that it was ever
Oh.
Although with the
I'll look
C code,
at
I
it.
mean,
With,
Maybe.
oh, the E code.
so speaking of E-code, how
That
are we
was what I was
getting
gonna ask.
on?
There's
Yeah, that
two
was our
other
next
things here
thing.
we have to follow up.
Yes, we're following up
So,
on our favorite things.
So, at the last official town board meeting, our attorneys said that they need a little more time to give us a report on the details of
bet
what
they do.
needs to be fixed and what does not.
Okay,
And that's the town attorney.
That's,
the
yeah,
town.
Kyle Barnett
Kyle.
from Denver.
Because, and in all fairness, I do feel some sympathy to Kyle, who has moved into this
Hmm.
after Joe.
Yeah,
Because, he's fallen on a bunch of stuff and he has to, get through it all. So
Right,
I do sympathize with that.
right.
Uh,
But we do need an answer sometime soon.
I-
so we're saying that issue is open still and not resolved? Is that what
Yes.
we're saying?
Correct. And there was one other thing,
Yeah, what
Shannon?
was our other thing, Shannon?
Town CSC is investigating pledge options and considering a task force coordinator. That was the update from last CSC, so I guess, do we want a different update or just
Right,
no
so,
update?
so with the resolution, which for the life of me, I thought we looked that up. Is that what you were looking?
So there's
The one that
two
was-
resolutions.
Right.
There's one resolution that the town took the Climate Smart Pledge. That's the one that I don't have. I have the other one that basically,
The pledge,
You have,
the pledge was adopted and I can go back through
Can you
my
find
files.
that?
Yeah, I will.
okay, that's good. So I,
but then do you possibly, because I did after that particular time frame lose all of my files in Gmail, because that happened to me twice. But do you not have another resolution of when we adopted Leslie?
I have that. I do
You
have
have
that.
that?
Yes.
So that's the two and that's what Colleen was trying to give me the other day.
Okay,
And I'm sure that
So
that paperwork is
I will-
adopting a coordinator, which we had already done. Now we just have to assign somebody else, which I think we assigned you, and you just forgot.
Wait a minute, tell me that again? Tell me- I didn't-
You are now the town board
Right,
official
okay, right, okay. Well, that
coordinator.
makes sense. So, but I mean, if you look at
You're
that,
checking on Leslie.
so I will,
If you-
I'll get you the pledge. I
Yeah,
mean,
I appreciate that.
It was adopted.
It may be in my computer
this-
somewhere, but I haven't found it yet.
so that resolution, the one that names everybody, I mean, I think as you guys know, a lot of those people, you know, either their terms are up or they just kind of like. are not
Well,
there.
so when Leslie left, she sent out an email, who wants to hang on? And, you know, say over 50% of them said, oh, I'm done, and they left. So
Hmm.
that's where we were, and we just haven't been able to regroup.
Right,
Because we
so,
didn't have a leader.
right, so, okay, well then, I mean, we've got to get more people on it. I don't, and tell me who is, I mean,
We still have Colleen Howard.
is she still involved?
She's
Okay,
100% still on
Great.
and willing to be on.
Okay,
I think we still have Adelaide.
her term is up, but,
Well, everyone's terms technically are up,
okay,
so we just have to reshuffle everybody. Pam is the liaison for the CAC.
So I'm not technically a member of the
So she's not a
CAC.
member, she's just there. I was technically the liaison, but I'm kind of a member. I'm not a leader, which is the way I started. I just had to co-lead with Leslie.
okay, so that, and then with Jane, that makes, well, if you're not a member, that would make 4 people.
Right.
So, I mean, we probably need a minimum of 5, I would think.
I think we need more, but, you know, as many as we can get at this point.
And then I think, so, any concrete, so how do we want to go about this recruitment thing? And was there any way we could make it a little interesting?
Bribe them
Sure.
with cookies, because
With
that's the only
cookies.
way I know how to do it.
Think of my hands.
It works. I don't know. You know, I think Leslie did a really good recruiting job, but, you know, they were people in her
On
her
orbit,
side, yeah, so then that helped.
And I think, yeah, that was in like kind of the wake of Miguel, but let's see, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. That made
I
a
can
huge
send out, I can
difference.
send out a blast.
I'm just looking on the town's website because I can't remember off the top of my head if
We'll
They
send out
all
a, yeah.
had- we see it. I know at one point I saw a post or something for, you know, members for it, for Climate Smart and CAC. But I don't know where.
We got a lot of new people that have not yet seen this post, even just to carry.
Oh my gosh, I apologize, Tim. I'm a loser.
Hmm?
I see that you're not listed on as a member of the CAC.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I will get Natalie to update that tomorrow. I cannot believe that. So I don't see it on the town website but Chrissy had something posted about applications for, you know,
You know,
for
about that-
accepting,
that
yeah.
ballot thing.
I don't think it was that. It was something else that I had seen somewhere. And it might have just been a social
Well-
media post.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. And
So,
And also too, I was gonna talk to her, I'm gonna set up something with her. So the town board, you know, like the village, can send out emails to people.
Yeah, we're supposed to have up to 9 on this
Right.
committee.
yeah, this one can have up to 9 people.
And I don't know how many people even apply anymore.
Well, we did have that one woman that was interested and we never heard back from her, and then now we have Jane. So that's as far as we've gotten. It's really
We
kind
don't
of
have to have 9, but you think people would apply occasionally.
be interested. All right, any other,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Go get the recording
And the next one's September 2nd.